The People's Democratic Party and its presidential flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar, were in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, for the official flag of his presidential campaign ahead of the 2023 presidential elections. With their campaign officially launched, one can say that Nigeria has now fully entered the campaign season proper, with the PDP being the first among the 18 political parties gunning for the top job. Meanwhile, the 5 aggrieved governors calling for the PDP national chairman's removal, Nyesom Wike, Samuel Otom, Seyi Makinde, Okezi Ekpazu, and Ifeanyi Ogwuanyi of Rivers, Benue, Oyo, Abia, and Enugu State, respectively, were absent at the rally. Hello and welcome to Daily Politics. This is where we get to discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now, joining me in the studio tonight to discuss the flag of the PDP campaign, among other issues, political analyst and author, and also public commentator, Jide Ojo, will be sharing his perspectives. Thank you for joining us on Daily Politics today.
Good evening, Nigeria. Happy day, Malud.
Yes. All right, but before we begin the discussion, let's take this quick breather, and then when we come back, the discussion begins. Please stay with us.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
I want to appeal to all Nigerians by standing today in Uyo, in Akwa Ibom State, to ask them to vote for PDP. If you vote for PDP, it will be a return to prosperity. It will be a return to unity. It will be a return to your safety. So there will be no more hunger and there will be security. PDP! PDP! Are you going to vote for PDP? Yes. Are you going to vote for PDP? Yes. Are you going to vote for PDP? Yes. Are you going to vote for PDP? 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 Raise your hand, I promise. Are you going to vote for PDP? 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 PDP! 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 Believe me, listen to me. I swear, if you vote for PDP, you will all go back to school. You will get jobs. There will be security. There will be unity. PDP! I love Akwa Ibom, I swear. I love you all. PDP! Power. PDP. Power. PDP. Power to the people. PDP. Power to the people. Thank you very much. PDP.
All right, thank you for staying. There you have it. PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital, where the PDP is flagging off its campaign officially today. So we'll take a look at some of the perspectives to that. Now, this is coming about 2 weeks after the official declaration, or I would say the lifting of the ban on campaigns by the electoral umpire, INEC. So having the campaign begin today seems to suggest that this is a party that feels perhaps it's time to just move on with the campaign regardless of the crisis that is happening within the party. What's your take?
Thank you very much once again. Happy Eid al-Maulud to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. The issue of PDP flagging up his campaign does not come as a surprise. They were also very, if not the first, to hold their party primary, presidential party primary, when others are not too sure of their dates. At least among the frontline political parties, PDP always set the pace. They keep to time. The Presidential Council Committee, PCC, of PDP was also ready at the goal on September 28th. They already had their list out and flagging up their campaign to rhyme with 10-10, 10-10-2022. It's also something that they feel will give them an edge. So it's a welcome development. However, as they say in local parlance, it's not the person that going to call the police that wins a case. Yeah. Yes, they've started, and it's good for us to have something to talk about. And we should also not be, we should not forget that there's a phenomenon that is happening in the lead up to 2023 general election, which is the issue of, how do I call it, working for a candidate. You see 5 million man mark, 10 million man,
the
1
rallies
million.
that we've seen across.
Yeah, the rallies. That to me is also a campaign in a sort of, because we had it even before September 28th, where one of the presidential candidates have his supporters, marching, rallying support to show that they are the structure of the party. So that in itself is the slant that this 2020, what we used to have is people having rallies, which would be, it could be in a stadium, it could be...
Yeah, but this time around, these rallies are not anchored by the political parties themselves, so to say. It's more like these are supporters, these are support groups that have decided to mobilize, to go on some kind of walk or rally and all of that. So would it be right to say that these are like campaigns, because it's not by the political parties?
It's campaign, because they have the flags, they have the souvenir, they have the mementos of the party being taken with them to identify themselves. It's a form of campaign. Yes, you are right to an extent that it's not organized necessarily by the party, but how many of the campaigns are actually organized by the party? The phenomenon in this part of the world is that after the party have submitted your name to the electoral management body, which is INEC here, the rest is yours to foot the bill. So you have candidates having an independent campaign office outside of their party. So what they do which is what the chairman of APC, or Progressive Congress, Senator Adamu, is trying to prevent. You recall that there was a leak of a memo purportedly distancing the National Working Committee from the composition of the Presidential Campaign Council, that there was no input from the party into the PCC. That is very instructive because he feared.
So would you say that the politicians or the political parties are now, or the candidates, so to say, are now finding other means, of mobilizing support for themselves aside from the political campaigns? Because that also goes to to the issue of funding for political campaigns and all of that. We've seen how other supporters will mobilize and spend on behalf of certain candidates, but not necessarily under the political party.
That's the norm. That's the trend over the time, and it's very, very wrong. So I'm in full support of what Senator Adamu Abdullahi, the chairman of APC, is trying to do, to say, look, you cannot just distance yourself from the party that is sponsoring you. Let's have an input into your Presidential Campaign Council. Let members of our party, let's also give input as to those people you need to accommodate that have electoral value.
So,
because
could it be that this is indicative of perhaps lack of confidence on the political party structure to actually deliver the mandate for the candidate?
You mean on the part of the candidate?
Yes,
that they lack confidence in the party?
On the party structure.
Not necessarily so. I think it's just the fact that parties themselves do not have the wherewithal to run campaign on behalf of their candidate. You know what I mean? For instance, look at the huge sums of money collected for nomination fee. Then what happens? What happens is that they will tell you, we spent this money to conduct the primary. You could have spent all the money to conduct the primary. 100 million per aspirant, and you have close to 40 aspirants in a particular party. So the issue now is that because there are many that the party is sponsoring, for instance, the campaigns that have been flagged up now is for the presidential candidate, the senatorial candidate, and the House of Reps candidate. And it is felt that everybody will have to paddle their own canoe. So you have to set up your independent campaign council. But I like what Senator Abdullahi Adamu is trying to do, to say, let the party make input, sufficient input, and tell you those that you are leaving out that have electoral value, that can help us win this election.
Okay.
Coupled with this fact that it is the party that has the responsibility to submit 3 reports to INEC. One is the annual report, which is due on March 31st of every new year, whether there is an election or not. The second one is election contributions report, which is due 3 months after the election. The third one is election expenses report, which is due 6 months after the election. If the party does not know what you are doing in your campaign organization, how then will he be able to write or present a comprehensive report of all the candidates that they are sponsoring?
All right, so I want us to stick to the PDP. Beginning the campaign from the southern part of the country, specifically in Akwa Ibom State, and then we have 5 governors of the PDP, mostly from the southern part of the country, who were not, in that campaign. What's the, implication of this?
The implication is grave. It's grave for the party, quite unfortunately, because the stronghold of the party called PDP is in the southern Nigeria. However, out of the 5 that absented themselves, out of the 5 states that they control in the South-South, with the exception of Cross River, only that of Rivers is not there. On the flip side, the only 2 states that is controlled by the party in the Southeast, they didn't show up. That's Okezekwe of Abia State and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State. Yeah. Now, what does that portend? It portends very grave danger for the aspiration of Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar, in the sense that if you look at the political map of states under the control of PDP, the 2 in the south, in fact, they were once in control of 4 out of 5 states. Unfortunately, 2 defected. That's the governor of Ebonyi, who defected from PDP to APC. And then the one in Imo, from the time of Rocha Sokorocha down to Opozo Dima. So they first lost those 2. Anambra, which is the home state of their governorship candidate, belongs to Apuga. Now, Apuga and PDP is having a running battle. It's like Peter Obi does not have a home base, home support yet, not yet. But with Okezekwe and Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, what they are saying is that PDP does not have a base in the Southeast again, at least in terms of logistics support. Because what it means is that the logistics that governors usually provide for their party to have a smooth rally campaign will be lost.
Exactly.
They will not get it.
Exactly, which leads me to the issue of, when those campaigns are going to be held in those states where, the governors are not, do not seem to be in support, of the candidate right now as it is. How would this play out really?
Well, quite like I said, quite unfortunately, this could only be to the advantage of APC. You know why? Right now, the Southeast and South-South have come to take Peter Obi as their project. So even if there is a reconciliation that Ayu today resigns, it still doesn't give PDP the overwhelming support base that it used to have traditionally from time immemorial. Because the youth and the core Igbos today, if there is a census, there is going to be an election, Peter Obi will win, of Labour Party will win overwhelmingly in the Southeast and South-South. However, it will not have that advantage in the Southwest. Now, unfortunately for Atiku too, the fact that Rabi Musa Kwankwaso is in the race from the north has also further eroded the advantage it should have had in the north. Did you see the mammoth support that Kwankwaso purportedly have in Kaduna?
So with this happening now, can the PDP actually risk moving on without these 5 governors?
They've already moved on. Why reconciliation effort?
Because the last time the Wabara-led committee went to Rivers State to meet the Governor Wike in the state, it didn't look as if the Governor Wike has changed his position at all. If anything, the Wabara Senator Adolphus Wabara was saying that he was going to go back and report to other leaders of the party, consult with them, and then perhaps made public whatever decision that they are
quite unfortunately for PDP and Waziri Adamawa. When you bring an ant-infested firewood from the farm, you invite lizards. The fact that they decided not to go along with their zoning arrangements in the constitution of PDP is what is haunting them now. At least for the the southern crisis they have. Because had it been that they agreed to go by their zoning and they allow a southerner to emerge, they will have had home support. The person with, peradventure, P2B will not have left PDP. Peradventure, nobody knows. Because even with Wike there, if Wike still didn't get the ticket and P2B gets it, he may not give the support. So everything is hypothetical. But as it stands, we can only conjecture that, unfortunately for Waziri Adamawa, one, this is the last time he could contest because of age factor. Not that it's forbidden, even in 2027, should he not make it now. But it will be difficult for him. After a back-to-back winning of the ticket of the party, remember in 2019, he was the flag bearer, standard bearer of PDP. Now in 2023. If he missed those two opportunities, I'm not sure whether the party will want to trust him, even though age will also have caught up with him. So the Kwakwanso factor now is eroding his base in the north. The Peter Obi factor is eroding his base in the south. And this is making the entire election looks like very unpredictable. Very unpredictable, because the advantage APC has now is that there are 21 states, even after they lost Osun, there are 21 states that still belongs to APC. And if the governors of these 21 states decide to deliver their state to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they will win.
All right. Let's have a pause there and now go on a short breather. And then when we return, we'll be joined by Khalifa Yahya, coordinator, Tinubu Shetima Campaign Support Organization, who will also bring in other perspectives as far as the issue of campaign for the All Progressives Congress is concerned. Please stay with us.
Thank you. PDP! 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 I want to recognize our wonderful governors, performing governors who are here today. Most especially, I want to recognize our host, Governor Emmanuel Udom. Now, listen to me very carefully. Nigeria wants to be like Akwa Ibom. You know why? Because since 1999, you have not changed parties. And you can see the development that is taking place here in Akwa Ibom. You can see the prosperity that is taking place in Akwa Ibom. You can see the security that is available in Akwa Ibom. So the rest of Nigeria would like to be like Akwa Ibom. Therefore, we want to delegate the launching of this campaign to the achievements of the Akwa Ibom PDP in good governance.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game. according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
All right, thanks for staying. You're watching Daily Politics, where we bring you perspectives and analysis on all political issues right here on Trust Television. Now, in other news, the All Progressives Congress, APC, has inaugurated the women's wing of the Tinubu-Shettima presidential campaign team with wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, as its grand patron. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, during the inauguration, urged the leadership of the APC to sign a pact with the Nigerian women to show the party's policies for them. She, however, decried the decrease in the participation of women in elective positions, particularly in the legislative arm of government. The inauguration of the women wing of the Tinubu-Shettima campaign, according to some quarters, signifies the official kickoff of the APC presidential campaign. To discuss this, we have in the studio Khalifa Yahaya. He is the coordinator of the Tinubu-Shettima Support Organization. We still have Jide Ojo, political analyst and public affairs commentator, with us in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us, Khalifa.
Thank you so much for having me, and I would like to use this opportunity to felicitate with all the Muslims around the world on the occasion of Eid al-Mawlud. We pray that all Muslims around the world will imbibe the spirit of love and mercy. Thank you very much.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So talking about your party, today we have seen the kickoff of this women's wing of the Tinubu-Shettima campaign team. Does this actually signify the beginning of campaigns for the APC?
Well, of course, this marks the official beginning of campaigns in the APC. And I just want to say something just before I proceed, that first things first, I'm not the official spokesperson of the Presidential Campaign Council. I'm not also the official spokesman of the APC, but then I am the leader of support organization canvassing support for the Tinubu-Shettima support organization. One thing I just want to say is, one thing when it comes to the APC, we are very, very gender sensitive, and then we try to strike that balance. And that is the main reason why we are starting with our women. We do realize the importance of women. We do understand their role in society. We do understand how very, very much important they are. Hence the reason why we are kickstarting with the women. And obviously, subsequently, we are going to have the Presidential Campaign Council officially taken up.
All right. So while this is happening, there seems to be a seeming silence from some APC leaders, maybe some sort of indecisive posture of some of the leaders of your party as to their support for the presidential candidate of the party. Very recently, we saw an interview where the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, couldn't, state his position as far as who he is supporting for the 2023 presidential election. So it appears that all is not well within your party.
Well, you are actually entitled to your own opinion, but I will emphatically tell you that all is well within the party. And we are waiting for the official inauguration of the Presidential Campaign Council, which is going to come very soon, inshallah. And, when it comes to the issue of a political party like the APC, which is obviously the largest political party in the country, we are very, very strategic. We are taking our time. We are ensuring that we take everybody along. Everybody is carried along. So there's nothing that shows that, the leaders of the party are actually having any problem. There's no problem whatsoever in the APC. And once the PCC is inaugurated, then definitely you're going to see action.
So, but it took a member of the National Working Committee of your party to actually respond, to release a statement to that effect. And in fact, he wasn't just addressing that statement to the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, but all other cabinet members who have, gone silent. There are some who, since the primary election, we've not seen them in the public space, openly declaring support for your presidential candidate. Rotimi Amechi is one of them, and all that. So this seems to signify quite a lot. Also, you don't forget that we've seen a lot of reactions with the issue of the list of your campaign list, but that's, on the one side of it.
Official campaign kick-started on the 28th of September, 2022. And then the PCC has not been inaugurated yet. So, of course, you wouldn't expect campaign to start because, members of the APC are a group of people who respect the law. We are progressives. So wait for the inauguration of the PCC, and then you're going to see everybody that matters, everybody that is part of the party. You're going to see him canvassing support for Ashwaju and Kashim Shettima.
Well, let's get perspectives from Jide Ojo. You've been watching this. You've been watching the whole process and all of that. What's your own take on this as to the issues delaying the kickoff of campaign for the APC?
Well, it's normal and natural for for there to be a lull initially. This is like a train, a locomotive train that is taking off from the train station. It gathers momentum gradually. You don't go 100 meters from the start. You rev, you warm, and then you take off gradually.
But the date for political campaigns is there as released by INEC from months ago. 28th of September. It's not really something that is catching anyone by surprise.
No, it's not as if they are caught by surprise. Not full well that early in the year, INEC also gave the window of April 4 or 6 to June 9 for party primaries to hold. None of the parties held their primaries in April, none in May. Most of them had it, some in the latter part of May and the first week of June. It's deliberate for them. They want to get things right. Recall that even the IPAC even requested for more time, a window of extension, which was granted by INEC 1 week. So this is like that. This is the first time campaigns, official campaign, public campaigns will be holding for 150 days. It has always been 90 days. And I've listened to Festus Keyame saying that in 2019, they even started 50 days late when it was officially 90 days for them to campaign. And they still won. So this time around, the campaign officially was supposed to begin on September 28th. But only PDP, to the best of my knowledge, has, kickoff officially beyond the rallies and the walkings and all of that. So you can decide, and it's strategic for some parties. The bigger the headache for APC with an estimated, quote and unquote, over 40 million members. You need to get your balance right.
So is that why we are seeing the back and forth between the Presidential Campaign Council and the Adamu Abdullahi led NWC with regards to the campaign list. I mean,
well, I mean, you heard what the chairman said, that there's actually no issue between him, and the presidential candidate and even members of the council. Of course, this is the largest party that we have in the country. We have over 20 governors. We have over 200 members, House of Reps. We have over 60 senators. So it is very natural to expect, obviously, when the list come out, a lot of people will feel like, we want to be part of this and all that. But then due to the spirit of, working together, all-inclusiveness of the presidential candidate, it is very, very okay that, you go back and then you harmonize the list and everything. Hence the reason why, everything now is being settled. And of course, you saw, how very, very energetic he was.
But okay, so how concerned are you about having members of your party supporting the opposition? We have heard, from some who are saying that there are certain members of your party that do not seem to be in support of your presidential candidate. Hence, they are likely going to be supporting other members.
Well, I mean, this is a democracy. Nobody can be forced to be a progressive. Nobody can be forced to be, in the party that we know will drive us, to the promised land. If for whatever reason, any member of the political party, any member of the APC, for example, feels he wants to cross over, of course, we are going to tell him not to make this mistake. But for whatever reason...
I mean, not crossing over. Yeah. I mean, these are people who are within the party. They are not decamping to anywhere, but they do not seem to be, in support of your candidate.
Well, no, but you see, you're just saying it because now, just like I said, we're waiting for the official flag off, of the Presidential Campaign Council. And then obviously that is when, just like the spokesperson will always tell you, always say, jungle is just maturing. A lot of things are going to happen. This is actually going to be a very long campaign. We have more than 4 months to the to the election. So let's calm our nerves. A lot of interesting things are going to happen. As of course we move to the elections. So I don't foresee any problem, and I don't think there's any problem in house. Most people that we think are actually are quiet are actually waiting for the proper action to start. I mean, you saw what happened in Lagos. We are not people that just make noise. We are more of actions.
Well, I don't know if Jide Ojo thinks the same though.
Yeah.
Whether. I mean, all is just fine with the APC and there are no hurdles.
No. All could not be said to be fine for the simple reason that there are too many vested interests. And, you have to choose the least costly option. Let's take it from the angle of same-faith ticket, Muslim ticket, which actually is tearing the party apart. At least we have seen someone like Yakubu Dogara having meetings to say that they are not going to work for the presidential candidate of the party. We've seen someone like Babacha Lawa also coming out to say, well, this is not something I can defend. We've seen Bwala that defected and now became the spokesperson for Atiku's campaign. For this, you cannot paper over it and say all is well. However, I have said this. This is not a religious evangelism. This is not a church service or a NASWAT meeting. This is politics. And in politics, you need to play. There is something called game theory in political science. How do you play game theory? You look at your opponents. Who are your opponents? How can you outsmart them? How can you outwit them? What are your chances? So you do your permutations. It's not as if you can say that there are no northern Christians that could have been on the ticket. But the party is also looking at possibility of how this will resonate with the voting population in the north and all of that. So that is number one issue that the party has. Secondly is the issue of inclusion in the PCC, Presidential Campaign Council, which purportedly Adamu Abdullahi, the chairman, has raised objection to non-inclusion of several interest groups within the party. Of course, like I said, when you have a party of over 40 million, you cannot expect that whatever the decision of the party or the candidate will go well with everybody. 40 million, that's if we take the word of Akpan Udoede after the registration that took place last year for as the fact and the truth. That is more than the population of some countries, even in West Africa. So if you have that huge membership, the huge membership register, you then need to find a intricate balance of not leaving anyone behind. So, of course, there are those who will naturally say, look, I cannot relate with this. Even in workplaces, there are people you don't want to associate with.
Okay, so would you say that, with the kind of, I would say, battle that is about to go on in the 2023 election, I mean, we have seen, kind of a thought force emerging with the Labour Party and all of that, and added to the opposition, the main opposition, the People's Democratic Party. And so the APC will really have to do a lot to secure victory in that election. Can your party afford to leave anyone behind, considering the fact that people are considering that they have other options now with Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party on board?
And even an MPP.
And even the NNPP, especially in the western part of the country. I mean, we've seen the rallies in Kaduna and then in Kano and the likes.
I mean, if you look at, even from the body language of our presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even immediately after the primaries, you saw what he did. He took his time. He visited all the presidential candidates. He started with the vice president, Yemi Oshibanjo. He visited all the candidates. And after that, even with, the issues, the hassles here and there with the, the PCC, I mean, which is one of the reasons why the official inauguration was, delayed, is just to ensure that everybody is on board. Is to ensure that people that have reservations, people that have complaints here and there, people that feel are not included, we ensure that everybody is brought together under the same banner. One thing that Asiwaju has always done is to ensure that, look, everybody should come together. Everybody should have that sense of inclusiveness. Everybody is important. And yes, and 2023 is going to be an interesting one. I love the the atmosphere and how even the youth demography, how much interest they have in politics. It's very, very important. But obviously know that the APC is very, very, very serious, and we are not taking any political party for granted. But one thing is for sure, we know our onions. We are very, very strategic. And come 2023, inshallah, is going to be victory for the APC.
With the same faith ticket of the APC, it doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. I mean, no matter what the presidential candidate may try to do, visit, all the aspirants, try to, make the party or the campaign list all-inclusive and all of that. Some of your party members seem to have taken their position and there is no going back on it. So how would you do with that? How would you deal with that?
Well, it's very, very natural, to have disagreements, even in a family. It's normal. And one thing I will assure you is that Nigerians obviously now understand, the issues. It's not really about, we don't really look at it as, a same faith ticket. It's actually a Nigerian ticket. You understand? And Nigerians understand that. So obviously, and that has been explained even by the candidate himself, Asiwaju. He has explained very, very clearly in clear terms that, look, this is a Nigerian project. And then Nigerians should always look at, competence and all that. So I strongly believe that, at the end of the day, people are going to find reason to understand that, look, this is all about competence. It's about the people that can actually do the job. And that, is no in doubt that Shetima as a running mate is actually very, very much competent. And those that have reservations, obviously, it's normal. It's normal. But we always remind them that we would want them to be rational and not emotional. Let us be rational. Let us look at this as a Nigerian project. We are all Nigerians. And everybody should strongly believe in the capacity of this duo. And inshallah, everything is going to come to place. Everything is going to be all right.
All right. So talking about, what the candidates will be doing, the issue of the party, the manifesto of your candidate is something that a lot of people have continued to ask questions about, as to we haven't seen the manifesto of your party. When is it going to be out? I mean, you said earlier that this unveiling of the women wing campaign team seemed to mark the beginning of the campaign. So when are we now going to see the manifesto?
As soon as possible. Very soon you're going to see that. Just like I said, one of the major reasons why Asiwaju has never lost an election is because he's someone who knows the game. He's someone who is very strategic. He's someone who takes his time before taking any action. So it's not, it's not really about, hurriedly presenting, a manifesto. He is taking his time. And when every other issue has been addressed, Nigerians should be rest assured that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to present the manifesto that is going to, give us a lot of hope. Everybody, all issues are going to be handled, inshallah, and Nigerians are going to be very, very, very proud of everything that is going to be handled in that manifesto. Well,
we'll get to see how that plays out. If you look at all the other candidates, everyone, people have been talking. Now, your candidate has been absent somehow during the signing of the peace pact by all the candidates. He was away. The inauguration, he was away. And then, a lot of people are saying, look, is he even healthy enough? Is he strong enough to be able to man that office?
Did you see our presidential candidate at the event, the launching of the Women Campaign Council?
Yes, he was.
Exactly.
Yes, but we are talking about the ones that he was away.
Well, the presidential candidate made it very clear that, he took a break and then he is back. And then you can see the energy, you can see the hope. You can see when he spoke today, everywhere, it resonated everywhere. You can see someone that's actually very, very, very much ready for the job. And then from now on, up until the end of campaigns, you're going to see more of this energy. You're going to see someone that is ready for the job, someone that is going to deliver.
All right, Jide Ojo, let me take your final thoughts on this. The campaigns are beginning, but as far as the issues are concerned, are we even really putting these issues on the table, the way they should be so far?
Well, the media is setting the agenda. The citizens are asking the right questions. This time around, we hope that the debate will be attended by all the candidates, particularly the frontline candidates who has the potential to be the next president for the country. Because I've never had issue with the blueprints, the roadmap, the manifesto of the parties. They always give us very beautiful manifesto. The issue has been the implementation. But ahead of that, and this campaign season, we need to play issue-based politics. This social media vitriolics and troll does not help anybody. Calling people unprintable names, making enemies for ourselves because of politics, it's not helping anybody. People, I know a number of people who have become lifelong enemies, all because they are supporting different candidates. But we are all Nigerians. It's a Nigerian project. Whoever wins at the end of the day, what is more important is, can the person deliver on good governance? That is what has been lacking in the past 23 years. Good governance. Let's have food on the table. Let's us be secure. Let's every part of this country be secure. Let's have the infrastructure. We are facing existential threat. Even with the floodings across the country, what do they have about climate change? What do they have about getting us secure? What do they have about education, which is in its torturing the health sector and all of that? So we need to vote a competent person, but we will not know who is competent unless we follow through with the campaigns. And that's why, luckily, the social media is helping us to be able to track some of the campaign promises, and they are going to be documented. So we'll ask the right question. After inauguration, whoever gets to win the seat will hold that person accountable. But most importantly, let's have an issue-based campaign.
All right.
We do not want violence. We do not want hate speeches. We do not want fake news. Disinformation and misinformation should be avoided like plague.
All right, thank you so much. It's a good place to end the discussion for today. Thank you so much for joining us on Daily Politics, gentlemen, and for giving us your perspectives. And that's it for the show for today. Speaking with me here in the studio is Jide Ojo, political analyst, and also Khalifa Yahaya, coordinator, Tinubu Shetima Campaign Support Organization. With that, we've come to the end of the program. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube, always streaming 24/7 for you to keep you informed. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.